And the match begins. Liverpool against Manchester City, October 2022 vintage. And here is Ake, takes a heavy touch on the far side, and Harvey Elliott is all over him, but plays the ball out of play as he put in the challenge, and it's out for a throw into Manchester City, halfway inside their own half. A deafening noise inside Anfield for the early stages of this match. You can hardly hear yourself think as the ball bounces down the right-hand side and out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Salah to take this after that amazing hat-trick at Ibrox on Wednesday night. It was timed at 6 minutes 11 seconds in the end.
Yeah, I suppose, John, the question everybody's asking is that going to really kickstart Mo Salah's season, that flurry of goals?
Well, we'll see. It can only help confidence, but to lose Konate today, just feel that is a really big blow for Liverpool, don't you?
No, absolutely, and James Milner out at right back's not ideal.
Here come Liverpool down the right-hand side. Here is the other man of the moment, Firmino, with a cross in towards the penalty spot, but Akanji comes across and clears it away. Back to the halfway line, Gomez. I think the support there for Gomez on the ball from the Liverpool supporters. Full-time in the Rugby League World Cup. Scotland 4, Italy 28. Liverpool down the right-hand side. Salah into the penalty area, crosses and it comes off Diaz, and it's out for a corner. What a roar for a corner.
Yeah, really fast start from Liverpool, and Firmino linking up beautifully with Salah. Slipped him in on the right-hand side of the box. Salah could not find Jota, who'd made a good run in the middle.
Corner for Liverpool. Liverpool in the first half attacking towards the Anfield Road end. So as we look from right to left, Thiago makes a run into the box. Here's the corner. It was aimed at his run, but it was headed safely away for Manchester City by Diaz, and then headed forward by Andy Robertson, back in the Liverpool starting lineup after making his comeback as the substitute, and he's on his feet there. He's won the free kick for the challenge by Bernardo Silva on him, which left Robertson on the ground. They got to their feet. Robertson pushed away Bernardo Silva, but they're all friends now, Chris. It's all
friends now, but feisty start. I don't mind that from Liverpool. Silva, a daft challenge from Silva. Robertson's always going to win the bouncing ball. Silva follows through, and Liverpool makes something of this free kick. 40 yards out.
Yep, that's Chris Sutton with us here on 5 Live and the World Service as well. Welcome to BBC World Service listeners. Thiago takes this free kick from 40 yards, curls it into the penalty area. It's cleared, and then it's sliced away by Gundogan, the bouncing ball on the edge of his own box. A stretch and a header only half away by Akanji, and then Diaz puts his right foot through it and volleys it away downfield for Phil Foden, who is challenged aerially by Gomez, who wins the header way above the head of Foden, but also leans into him, bundles him over. The ball's out of play. Anthony Taylor, the referee, incidentally, and he has indicated that is a free kick.
Do you know what? I think he's probably thinking of, I better give City a free kick. Thought the bouncing ball, Gomez won it fairly. Thought Foden with the follow-through, but a harsh one, that.
Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Still Leeds United 0, Arsenal 1. They are still playing at Elland Road in the delayed 2 o'clock kickoff. So more on that to come. Arsenal having just had Gabriel sent off, and it was not a penalty at Elland Road. That is the decision. So it remains 1-0 to the leaders, Bukayo Saka's goal. So with the scoreline as it is at the moment, Arsenal will be stretching their lead over Manchester City at the top of the table for the time being at least. Here is Salah on the right-hand side, looking to find Milner, but Gundogan stepped in, and then Gundogan passes it out of play, much to the mirth and enjoyment of a packed house at Anfield. Aberdeen have taken the lead against Hearts in the 3 o'clock kickoff. Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. Duke, the goal scorer. Ball played to the halfway line, but it's headed back and then nodded further back to Joe Gomez. So with Konate out, big afternoon for Gomez alongside Van Dijk on a day like this, when there are questions being asked about Liverpool's defending. And this one's been given away by Jota, and now here's Haaland for the first time on the edge of the penalty area. Jota, actually, having given the ball away, was the man who put in the tackle on Haaland, and Liverpool were able to clear.
Yeah, it's a brilliant challenge from Jota, because Haaland took a good first touch and was poised to fire a shot left-footed, and Jota made a timely tackle.
That's the first involvement from the sensation that is Erling Haaland in this match. 20 goals in all competitions for City this season, and he has scored in each of his last 10 Manchester City appearances. 18 goals in those 10 matches, and he has scored in his last 7 Premier League appearances. City in the lime green shirts with the sort of charcoal grey horizontal stripes, and here come City bringing the ball away with Rodri, and the full-time whistle has gone at Elland Road. Andy Giddings.
So Arsenal have been victorious, a 9th win in 10 games, and as things stand they've gone 4 points clear, but Mikel Arteta celebrated like a man who was joyfully relieved. Bukayo Saka's first half goal ultimately the difference, but Patrick Bamford has wasted a whole host of chances, including missing a penalty too as well, and the incident late in the game, the goal was chalked off because Bamford shoved Gabriel, and that red card for Gabriel was brought back down to a yellow. A day of high drama, but Arsenal are victorious. Leeds 0, Arsenal 1.
Thank you, Andy. Haaland breaking away for Manchester City near the halfway line, up towards the edge of the box, gives it out to Cancelo. Cancelo against Andy Robertson, got the ball past him, but Robertson, I think, rather cleverly actually, managed to avoid it, and Cancelo's touch took it behind for a goal kick to Liverpool. 0-0 here at Anfield. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Liverpool with the high press. City actually, when they're in possession of the ball, are more or less a back three, aren't they? Cancelo high up on that right-hand side, and Foden high up on that left-hand side. But the ball went forward into Haaland, shoulder to shoulder with Gomez. A little bit of a get-off from Haaland to Gomez, and fed the ball out to Cancelo, but nothing came of it.
And similarly, a big shout from the Liverpool supporters. There was a bit of a get-off from Salah to Ruben Dias on the halfway line. It's going to be fascinating to see how Van Dijk and Gomez deal with Haaland. And here's Fabinho down the right wing for Liverpool, wins a throw-in off Bernardo Silva on the far side in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. It is quite autumnal here this afternoon, overcast, a little bit of a chill in the air, and City with the ball inside their own half, playing it back to Rodri, who then goes back to central defender Diaz, just shovels forward with it and then plays it forward to Rodri. But there are 2 Liverpool players, Firmino and Salah, either side of him, but he just turns and gives it back to Diaz in central defence. City crossing the halfway line, but then going back into their own half to Ake. Ake square towards Diaz, and Diaz's pass to Gundogan. He side-foots it back to Bernardo Silva near the halfway line, but he's closed down by Elliott, so it goes square to Rodri, and then Rodri lifts a high right-footed pass out to the right-hand side to Cancelo. Here's De Bruyne. De Bruyne not yet been involved meaningfully in the match. Harlequin 7, Leicester 17 is the latest score in the afternoon's Premiership match in the Rugby Union. 10 minutes left in that game. Here's Ake. City now 10 yards inside Liverpool territory, and now it's being moved from left to right by Manchester City again. Liverpool, who are unbeaten here at Anfield in their last 27 Premier League matches, going back 19 months. But Manchester City are unbeaten in a club record 22 away league matches. That's what we're talking about, these 2 sides with the powerful recent records that they have. And from the Liverpool point of view, despite their patchy form, their up and down form this season, here is Ake. Liverpool have not actually won in the Premier League since August. Ake with his foot on the ball, patient stuff from Manchester City, just trying to take the sting out of things. Chris Sutton.
I think Liverpool trying to say nice and compact. Spaces in the wide areas for City. Quick switches of play. It's come out right to Cancelo.
Cancelo curls it in. That's a nice looking ball, but there were runners there. Gundogan, Haaland was in the middle, of course he was, but in lilac today, the bearded Alisson was able to catch the ball into his chest, and he holds it now near the penalty spot. We've got the 2 great Brazilians of the current time, haven't we? The goalkeepers, Ederson and Alisson. It looks as though it's going to be Alisson, doesn't it, who's going to get the nod from Tite, the Brazilian coach. Here's Firmino on the halfway line. Firmino passes the ball out to the left. He's saying it got a touch, and Anthony Taylor says yes it did. From I think it was Rodri, wasn't it, who was closest to, so it's a throw into Liverpool on the halfway line. Roberto Firmino, 3 goals in his last 2 matches, 5 in his last 4. he's really come to life this season. Aberdeen now 2-0 up on Hearts. Besoyan with the second goal for Aberdeen. Earlier, Rangers won, Chris, 2-1. They came through 2-1 against Motherwell in their first match back after the second half collapse against Liverpool the other night.
Yeah, I think Gio Van Bronckhorst certainly needed that today.
He did, and he got it. I believe it was not a thing of great beauty, according to Ruddy Forsyth, that match, but they got the win, and they're back to within 2 points of Celtic. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. 5 Live in the World Service and BBC Sounds as well. And Manchester City passing the ball out from Ederson. Rodri just draws Jota and then gives the ball to his right to Akanji. And now here is Cancelo on the right-hand side. Cancelo takes it on, but in slides Thiago with the challenge. And Liverpool, all in red here at Anfield, of course, have the ball back. Firmino is dispossessed though. Bernardo Silva clips the ball out towards the left-hand side. Foden is there, Phil Foden, having signed that new contract on Friday when it was announced, a new 3-year contract. Phil Foden, Gundogan back in field to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is dispossessed and Firmino overhits his pass forward towards Jota, so Manchester City have got it back inside their own half. Cagey stuff at the moment, Chris.
Yeah, it is, and in fairness to Liverpool, they're flooding the middle of the park. And Bernardo Silva, ball taken off him, Thiago with a really aggressive challenge. And I think that's what Liverpool have lacked this season, that real aggression, which they seem to have had in other seasons.
Liverpool, this is nice from them on the left-hand side near the halfway line. Robertson and
Should have
Jota.
gone early though, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and Firmino actually checks back and gives it back to Gomez near the centre circle, out to the right-hand side to James Milner, who digs over the pass, over the top, but Ederson is going to come out and actually allow that to roll back towards the dead ball line before he picks it up. Harlequins 7, Leicester 20 is now the score. Hull City 0, Birmingham 2, still the latest score in the match in the Championship, which was delayed because the goals were the wrong size. I think you might be talking about that on 606 a little later on.
Happened at Wigan, didn't it? I think last week the goalposts were too big.
Yeah, but according to Darren back in the studio, Darren Fletcher, they produced a saw at
just
Hull City today.
imagine if you saw too big a piece off.
Well, then you're snookered. Here is Gundogan on the left-hand side. So if you saw it, I'm sure Chris and Robbie later would love to hear a full explanation. Here's Ake carrying the ball towards the halfway line. City with Diaz. Diaz, high ball out towards the right. Robertson gets up, heads it down. Jota wins it back from De Bruyne. That was a popular move. Jota then takes on Akanji, but Akanji puts in the challenge, and here he is again, the former Borussia Dortmund man. A touch from De Bruyne, but Van Dijk is able to step forward and sweep the ball away downfield, but beyond Salah. So Manchester City have got it back again with their goalkeeper. It's 0-0 here at Anfield.
Yeah, and De Bruyne, by his standards, has had a really quiet start to this game, hasn't he? You see City on the ball, that back three. Bernardo Silva slotting in alongside Rodri as a 6, really. They play a box, don't they, City in that midfield, keeping the width with Cancelo and Foden.
It's an interesting one tactically, isn't it? What does appear to be 3 central defenders for Manchester City here at Anfield. Milner challenged by Foden, but Elliott's back in there. The teenager, number 19 on his back, 19 years old. A huge ovation. Foden's gone down after being caught by Elliott, but referee Taylor is ignoring that, and Liverpool are carrying it forward. He is holding his head, Foden, and that's what Pep Guardiola's saying down there. But Liverpool continue to come forward with Firmino, who couldn't slip it through, and Cancelo is able to come across. And now Manchester City have got it back, but Foden's on his feet now, so City don't put it out of play. And Rodri plays a high ball over the top for Haaland to take down and shoot, and that's blocked by Gomez. Now De Bruyne on the edge of the box, back to Haaland. Foden now involved in the play, cuts it back via a deflection. A falling shot from Gundogan, but a comfortable save down to his right by Alisson. And I think the Liverpool supporters are questioning why it was that Foden was able to recover so quickly.
Yeah, they're unhappy, the Liverpool supporters, but he took his time getting up, and then City, when they were on the attack, rose to his feet and actually was looking to cross the ball in from the left-hand side, but there wasn't any City players in the box, and eventually the ball Comes out to Gundogan, who struck. Not a great effort. Choked it into the 4 from 20 yards, and Alisson saved comfortably to his right-hand side.
I think that's the first attempt on goal. Is that right? It's the first one, I think. Was certainly the first one I've made a note of. And it remains Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. I don't think anyone was predicting a 0-0 draw. There's been one 0-0 draw between Liverpool and Manchester City in their last 32 matches. Here is Haaland now, middle of the Liverpool half, but Thiago and Fabinho dispossessed him, but City played back through. De Bruyne to Haaland stretching, Gomez went with him, and on the stretch Haaland I think got a touch, but that just carried it through to Alisson.
But that's the danger, isn't it? And Liverpool sloppy there. They win the ball eventually, they win the ball initially, but when it comes out to De Bruyne, he looks immediately for Haaland on the move. And Gomez stayed with him, and the chance had gone.
Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Liverpool coming forward. Robertson plays it down into the full-back position, the right full-back position of City, looking for Jota. But Rodri was able to come across and clear it out of play for a Liverpool throw. 8 or 9 yards back from the corner flag on the left-hand side. Harlequins 7, Leicester 27 now. And Real Madrid still leading Barcelona by 2-0 in La Liga. Salah on the right-hand side just comes in field. Elliott, first-time touch from Firmino. It rolls to Fabinho. They want him to shoot. He doesn't. He gives it to the left. And then Robertson curls one into the back post, but Ake was underneath that to head it away well under pressure from Firmino. And City with Foden now down in the left-back area. He just clears it long, and Liverpool have got it back.
Yeah, really good delivery from Andrew Robertson. That's what you expect from that left-hand side, and Ake in that left-back, left centre-half role when they're in possession makes a really good header. Firmino was behind him. But that physicality, hasn't he, Ake?
Liverpool, I mean, I thought Tsimikas has actually done quite well while Robertson missed those 4 matches, but that sort of whip delivery as Thiago gets that pass wrong from the halfway line. He was looking to strike it into the path of Elliott on the far side, but overhit it, and as he did so, sort of lifted up his right foot and just tapped the ground with it because he knew that he'd got it wrong. But Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0 is the score. If you have just got back into your car, just joined us on 5 Live, the earlier scores in the Premier League, busy afternoon in the Premier League with City playing the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, and then Bernardo Silva challenged by Firmino, and the ball's out of play for a throw into City halfway inside their own half. So the leaders Arsenal have won again, 1-0 at Leeds United, but certainly plenty going on in that match, and we'll have, I would think, reaction at half-time from Elland Road. It finished Manchester United 0, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 2, and Southampton 1, West Ham 1. So if you're on your way back from those matches, you might want to talk about it on 606 later with Robbie Savage and the man sitting to my right here, who'll be sitting in that seat until 8 o'clock tonight here at Anfield. So good luck with that.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay.
Yes, I'll think about that. Then we'll let you know when the lines are open. You can read about it, BBC Sport website. Watch Match of the Day 2 tonight for the highlights. It's always there on the iPlayer as well. And then download the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning from BBC Sounds. Here's Cancelo, City down the right-hand side, pulls over the cross. Gundogan chests it across the penalty area to Foden, who plays it back, and Ake dinks it in left-footed. That's headed away by Gomez. Out to De Bruyne, his shot is blocked at source, and then Elliott is there to get a foot in between Ake and Foden, just to help it out for a throw on the left-hand side. Still 0-0, almost 20 minutes played. It's yet to live up to the thrills of the 2 Premier League matches last season, which were real seesawing affairs, if we can mention saws again, and finished 2-2, you'll remember. Here's Firmino playing the ball away from inside his own half. Jota, now Salah. Salah just holds off Ake, possibly used an arm into the side of his head there, but play continues, and Salah takes it into the penalty area, and Diaz is able to block it, and it is blocked behind for a corner. Well, City aren't complaining about that to referee Taylor.
No, and neither should they. Shoulder to shoulder, mentioned the earlier one with Haaland and Gomez there. Salah had Salah at his best, real strength, just pushes Ake off the ball and then drives on the front foot at pace. Diaz does well, actually. Opportunity for Liverpool out from the corner kick.
Yes, he got himself into that position where you remember in this match last season he scored that brilliant goal. Here's the corner into the near post, swung in there but headed away by Kevin De Bruyne, who was the man at the near post. Back to Milner on the right. Milner's cross near the penalty spot. It's headed out by City. Comes out to Elliott, who got the ball caught up underneath his feet, but he crosses and it's headed down goalwards but straight at Ederson, who's able to scoop it up. Diogo Jota with the header from,
do you know what?
8-9 yards?
Yeah, he's good in the air. And just wondered whether Harvey Elliott, as the ball dropped on the left-hand side of the box, was going to try and hit that first time. Bouncing ball, takes a touch and just stands the ball up to the far post. I think Jota should do better and go back across Ederson into the far corner. Has to generate his own power with that, but poor direction.
Diogo Jota, who scored a career best 21 goals in a season last season, but has now not scored in his last 20 Liverpool appearances. In fact, since the 2-2 draw against City in Manchester in April. And that was a chance, not taken, still 0-0. Thiago lifts a high one forward. Jota takes that down really nicely. And Jota now, his attempted cross is deflected into the path of Rodri, who plays it up to Foden. But then James Milner does a good job on Foden. The bouncing ball, Milner stepped in and took it away and passed it back to Alisson.
I think Pep said, didn't he, before the game, that Man City, when they've come here but in the past, have been too soft. And I think Liverpool have had the more aggression in this opening half of the first half. Haven't been at their fluent best, City, just yet. Give them time.
It is still 0-0. And as they used to say in the old football reports, chances have been at a premium so far. Here's Alisson on the edge of his 6-yard box, turns and passes it to his right to Gomez. And then from Elliott back to Gomez again. If you haven't heard, Trent Alexander-Arnold is among the substitutes for Liverpool, which is good news for England. Well, it's good news for Liverpool, first of all, but it's good news for England and Gareth Southgate too, with that news about Reece James, who it seems isn't giving up on the possibility of being fit for the World Cup, but Chelsea saying that he'll be out for at least 8 weeks. Here is Firmino, still inside the Liverpool half. It's passed back to Thiago, who then goes to Van Dijk on the edge of the box. Van Dijk
is ball.
Oh, look at that's a classic Van Dijk pass from the edge of his own penalty area, 10 yards inside the City half on the far side. Elliott now back to Fabinho, and then Jota back to Elliott on the right. Here's the cross in, a diving punch away. It comes out to Robertson, who drives it high over the angle of post and bar. Got right underneath it, Andy Robertson, but a flowing move, and it all came from that pass from Van Dijk on the edge of his own box.
Yeah, what a ball. Must be 50, 60 yards from Van Dijk out to the right-hand side. It's popped back, and Liverpool get the runner. Jota, he's onside. Ball whipped out, and Ederson flying with a right-handed save. Robertson should hit the target.
Rodri's given it away to Fabinho. Now Thiago, there's space for Firmino on the edge of the box, but not for long. Akanji was very quickly in. Liverpool come again though. Robertson overhits that pass. He's ballooned it really right across the penalty area into the full-back position on the far side, but Elliott scampered after it. And little Elliott was able to pass it in to Fabinho. Now he has Milner, the former Manchester City man, don't forget, twice a Premier League winner with City. Crosses from the right-hand side. Robertson nods it into the box, but City are able to bring it away. 24 minutes played. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Foden gets the ball down. He's become public enemy number 1, which I think, as it often does, as well as the incident earlier on in the game, I think probably reflects a bit of respect, really, as much as anything else, because they know that he can be a danger, as they've seen here at Anfield. Here is Bernardo Silva, who gives it to Foden on the left-hand side. Foden now coming in field from the left, still going, and then lifts it, scoops it with his left foot into the penalty area. He was looking for Haaland, but Van Dijk went across and was able to head it away. Back to the halfway line. Ake, now another high ball that bounces down. Gomez comes across and volleys it away. High towards the centre circle. Rodri wins that one. Then it's headed forward by Gundogan, and then a challenge on Firmino by Rodri. Referee Taylor says play on Liverpool, which they do, and they have it on the right-hand side with Salah on the right wing, but now cutting in field, up against Ake, plays it in field to Firmino. Elliott's out there as well for Liverpool. Elliott in the white boots, back to Firmino on the edge of the box, and then comes centrally to Thiago, first time touch from him, back to Fabinho, and then Liverpool again have it on the far side, but Manchester City are back in position now, still 0-0, and floodlights are on now all around the various roofs of Anfield as Liverpool go back towards their goalkeeper, who's out of his D on the edge of the penalty area. Thiago's dropped right back now to the edge of his own box. And now Milner on the right-hand side. Milner up towards the halfway line. Diaz gets forward, gets a foot to that, but it bounces back to Liverpool on the edge of their own box. And then Alisson will pass it out to Van Dijk on the left-hand side. Virgil Van Dijk, unbeaten in the Premier League as a Liverpool player here at Anfield. 68 home Premier League appearances without losing. Van Dijk playing it forward, but the ball's deflected out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Robertson.
What a time to bring up that stat in the Manchester City, John.
Yeah, I mentioned it because I heard Nader Manuha mentioned earlier on today, and I was curious to know how many matches it was, so that is the answer, 68. Here is Thiago, Liverpool still inside their own half. Robertson, long and left-footed. Salah is up against Diaz, and he's managed to get away, and Diaz puts in the challenge, but Salah plays it square, and Elliott on the edge of the area. Elliott against Ake, who gets a foot in and is able to get a touch on the ball to take it away from the teenager, who just holds his head there. Elliott.
Ake does brilliantly though, doesn't he? Elliott trying to drive it on the inside and shift the ball on his favoured left foot. Salah initially, but out-muscled Diaz, I think it was, just to slide him the ball on the edge of the box, but Ake stood firm, and that was a really important challenge, because Elliott would have had a free shot at goal.
Nathan Ake, who has now started 3 consecutive Premier League games, and if you remember, started against Manchester United as well, and I remember Pep Guardiola saying after the match he wanted him for that match, but Liverpool send it long, and Salah's chasing, but the offside flag is up as goalkeeper Ederson comes out. And so it'll be a free kick to Manchester City. But I think the general sort of tenor of it was that Ake is in quite a good moment now, as the Continentals like to say.
I think a lot of, everyone says that. We say it over here as well, don't we?
Yeah, the Continentals started it.
Oh, did
and
they?
It's become part of British footballing parlance.
Which particular Continentals started that, John?
Well, people like Carlo Ancelotti. I think I would be right in saying. Barcelona on the continent have got a goal back. Real Madrid 2, Barcelona 1. Ferran Torres has scored that goal once of Manchester City. Here's Rodri playing it out to the left-hand side. Foden gets the ball down. Elliott goes across. Foden, though, gets the cross in deep to the back post. Cancelo heads it across the 6-yard box. But Van Dijk was there to just lean forward and head it away. Liverpool clear. Just volleyed downfield. Van Dijk wasn't very happy about that from Thiago, but Van Dijk with the follow-up header to get it away, comes back again, and Foden is beaten in the challenge by Milner. Elliott plays it over the top down the right wing. That's asking an awful lot of Salah, and he doesn't get there. City are able to see it back to goalkeeper Ederson, and now bring it up towards the halfway line. Full-time Aberdeen have won. They've beaten Hearts by 2-0, so Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0 is the final score. More to come at half-time in this match on all of the earlier Premier League games. Plenty of incident on and off the field. Half an hour almost played here at Anfield. A gentle, coolish breeze just blows across us up here in the top tier of the main stand. Great scene down below us. This match, Liverpool and Manchester City, these two current titans, even though Liverpool are down 11th place in the Premier League this morning. City with it halfway inside their own half. Akanji turns and plays it out towards the right-hand side, and then Cancelo giving it back to De Bruyne, and De Bruyne's ball through the middle finds Haaland on his left foot, edge of the D, plays it square. Foden could be in on his right foot inside the penalty area, turns back onto his left, gives it back to Bernardo Silva, who rather blazes the shot from 22-23 yards, a quarter of the way up the Kop.
Do you know what? City haven't started well at all, but that's all it takes. Really good move starting on the right hand side, and as the ball's played into Haaland, I think Haaland's thinking, I want to shoot, but spots Foden, who took too long.
Here's Foden again though on the left hand side. He's gone for the early cross. Haaland backs away, chests it down, lifts the volley across the penalty area to the back post. Well, Milner very coolly just peels away from Gundogan, and the veteran, the captain today, heads it back to his goalkeeper Alisson, who will overarm it out to Robertson, and then Jota goes down under the challenge of Akanji, which is not best pleased Pep Guardiola, who stepped out of his coaching area that was right in front of him and actually stepped onto the pitch.
Still on the pitch.
He's still on the pitch, and he's performed the low five with Andy Robertson. Well done, Andy, for winning that free kick. And he's now off the pitch. Big white trainers, bright white trainers, black padded coat, hands in pockets, and he steps back into the coaching area.
It'd be disappointing if he had dirty white trainers on, being manager of Manchester City, John.
That's a good point, though. Very good point. He's actually he's on the wrong end of the record. Guardiola and Klopp head to head. Guardiola have their various meetings with all of their clubs as managers. Guardiola's won 9, Klopp has won 11. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Back it comes to Gomez in central defence.
Klopp will be happier with the start from his team. Seen City so many times this season, and they come flying out of the traps and have a real fluency to their passing. That hasn't happened today. I think there's a credit to Liverpool and the way they've set up and the aggression they are playing with.
And quite a few tactical tweaks today by Pep Guardiola for this one, as Gundogan plays it through to Haaland. Haaland goes for the little dink over Alisson, who stands up tall and is able to get both hands to it, pat it down, and Van Dijk cleared it away.
But there we go. Space in behind Haaland. The timing of his run is brilliant. He tries to chip Alisson. He's out wide on the left-hand side. That's a big miss for Haaland.
Yeah, in his devastating form. It is.
Tried to be too cute there. Wonder whether he could have just slipped it past Alisson to one side.
As Liverpool win it back on the halfway line, Firmino is dispossessed by Bernardo Silva, and Bernardo Silva now to Foden. Foden, who's all action, turns, arms swaying from side to side, and then gives it back to Ake. But that move, Gundogan slipping the ball through, that was on the right-hand side of the Liverpool defence, incidentally, beyond Gomez. Here is City again, ball into the box. Gomez comes across and gets there ahead of Bernardo Silva. Right-footed, clears it away. Ake brings it down. Past the half hour now, still goalless here at Anfield. 5 Live, the World Service from the BBC. Listen wherever you go on BBC Sounds as well via your app. And the ball is played back by Akanji into his penalty area to Ederson. All in royal blue today. The Manchester City goalkeeper walking the ball out and passing it to Diaz, and now Rodri to the left hand side to Nathan Ake, passes it up the line to Foden. Bernardo Silva infield, receives that pass, plays it back for Foden. It had just a little bit too much on it, and that meant that Gomez could put in the challenge, and then Milner helps out as well, and the ball finds its way back to goalkeeper Alisson, still goalless.
Yeah, Gomez did well on that occasion, didn't he? Foden, unlike him, with the heavy touch, just allowed Gomez to get across. Strong challenge.
Phil Foden scored in the last 2 Premier League matches here at Anfield for Manchester City. Remember that absolute rifler when they won 4-1 here behind closed doors, Manchester City. They have it on the left-hand side, the champions. Played back to Gundogan. Gundogan just turns away infield, but Salah's able to nip in and prevent it from reaching Rodri. And then Salah wanted the free kick. It's not given. City play on. Cross from the left-hand side from Bernardo Silva. Comes out to De Bruyne. He lifts it back into the penalty area. Haaland underneath it. Heads it over the top with Gomez putting him under pressure.
Well, you can hear the dissatisfaction within Anfield from the home support. I thought it was a foul on Mo Salah. And as the play went on, that's a chance for Haaland. Jurgen Klopp is going berserk in his technical area. I've got to say, I'm with him. It was Rodri on Salah. Doesn't get the ball, just takes Salah out.
with the naked eye on one viewing, looked like a free kick, certainly. But City played on, and Jurgen Klopp is still moaning about it. Cancelo up to the edge of the area. De Bruyne's in space. That means danger. But his attempted centre was blocked behind by a sliding Van Dijk. Corner to Manchester City.
He anticipated that superbly. Van Dijk did, because De Bruyne in those situations normally picks out one of his teammates. Van Dijk at full stretch, ball behind.
So it's a corner in front of the Kop, down to our right. Phil Foden has come all the way across here to take this, although Gundogan has now joined him. And the two of them together, having a little chat. Hand comes up to the mouth of Gundogan, who raises his right arm. It's taken short by Foden. Gundogan then angles it back. De Bruyne's ball in is a poor one, actually, by his stand, well, by almost by any standards. Into the box, and it's easily cleared away by Thiago. Comes back to Manchester City centrally, and Bernardo Silva with Jota lurking not too far away, turns one way then the other, and City go all the way back into their own half. Real Madrid have re-established their 2-goal lead. They now lead by 3-1 against Barcelona, and it is City who play it back to Bernardo Silva on the halfway line, turns, gives it to the left-hand side to Foden. Milner backs away. There is support behind him from Bernardo Silva. And again, Bernardo Silva uses Ake on the halfway line. Rodrigo with the third goal for Real Madrid. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. City up towards Haaland, who's had 2 sights of goal now. Actually, 3 sights of goal now. Jota, though, for Liverpool, sweeps the ball over the top, but it's rolling down now into the full-back position. He was looking for Salah, who's on the left. Elliott is there as well. And then Robertson arrives in the penalty area and wins a corner off Rodri's shin, so it's a corner to Liverpool now.
Yeah, brilliant run from Andy Robertson. An underlap on the left-hand side, and Elliott found him. And Rodri makes the challenge. Liverpool corner from the left, in front of all of those Manchester City fans, many of them standing with their arms crossed. Robertson takes the corner for Liverpool to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by City, comes out to the edge of the penalty area. Elliott hits the shot, that's blocked by a body inside the box. There were lots of them in there, and it's bounced down and away out of the penalty area, and City clear. Andy Robertson with it on the left-hand side. Firmino, back to Robertson, back to Firmino, back to Robertson again, who's in the box now, to the byline, pulls it across, but Diaz threw himself in front of the line of the flight of the ball and blocked it behind for another Liverpool corner from the left. Oh, delightful on the Liverpool left. A couple of give and goes from Andy Robertson into Firmino. Gets it to another good crossing position on the byline. Good last-ditch defending from Manchester City. Yeah, playtime stuff, wasn't it? Robertson and Firmino together, delightful. So it's a corner that this one's going to be taken by Milner. So this will be an in-swinger with his right foot. Milner with the Liverpool corner into the 6-yard box, but that's safely and securely headed away for Manchester City by Diaz, and then an overhit pass by Robertson out of play, doesn't find Milner. So it's a throw into Manchester City halfway inside their own half. 6 or 7 minutes to go to half-time, plus added time. Busy midweek coming up, by the way, with lots of midweek football, but 9 Premier League matches, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we've got commentary on all of them on BBC Radio, either on 5 Live, Sports Extra, or via the BBC website. So all of them at the various kick-off times there will be. Where are you venturing this week, Chris? I'm sure you'll be heading somewhere. Here's De Bruyne now receiving it and taking it forward and curling it in towards Haaland, who heads it goalwards, but straight into the arms of Alisson. At the back post, 6 yards out with the angle, but Alisson was there, and almost, it seemed, in lilac, attracted the ball from Haaland's head into his chest. He did, but it's really good play from Manchester City. One into the other, out left to Foden, drives inside, feeds De Bruyne. Head up from De Bruyne, who picks out Haaland, and Haaland should do better. From Alisson downfield, Elliott's onto this. Firmino now on the edge of the box. Firmino tried to lay it across, took a deflection, bounces away from Salah. He's still after it, but there are 2 Manchester City men in there, and between them, Akanji and Diaz, they're able to get it away. Just looking at that Haaland chance again, John, should head it back across a bit like the Jota one earlier, different position, but the goal is gaping. You go back across the goalkeeper there. Alisson wouldn't have stood a chance, too close to him. He gathered it easily. Missed a couple of opportunities now.
It's what unselfish strikers would do, Chris, wouldn't it? Unselfish strikers, you know what happened to them.
Yeah, I was unselfish, John.
Here's De Bruyne. Now Rodri plays the ball forward, but that's beyond the run of Cancelo, so Robertson plays it back to Alisson, who's able to clear it away. A little bit of a slice on that, so Gundogan was underneath, but Liverpool Jota, but there was also a challenge on him from Rodri. Real Madrid have won. They've beaten Barcelona 3-1, so they are top of the table. City coming forward, the ball's played across from the edge of the box. It's cut back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne now taking it on, away from Jota, and he does well and finds Cancelo behind him. And Cancelo now into the penalty area. Thiago comes across and cleverly runs across him and takes the ball away. Firmino helps out, and the referee says the ball bounces up and strikes the arm of Rodri, and it's a free kick to Liverpool halfway inside their half.
And many Liverpool players with their arms out saying to Anthony Taylor, how is that not a yellow card? Rodri sticks his arm out, stops the ball. I'm baffled with that one. Very strange one. With Manchester City, you feel the longer this half has gone on, they've become more prominent.
Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0 remains the score, though. 0-0 at half-time last season in this match here at Anfield, and it ended up 2-2, a dramatic second half, and that included that brilliant goal from Salah. City take up possession again in the centre circle. Gundogan to Haaland, now Foden again. Foden infield towards Gundogan, but Liverpool have both Fabinho and Thiago there, and it's back to the centre circle. Whistles for Rodri now. Cancelo laying it forward. De Bruyne makes the run into the full-back position. Here's the cross, headed down and away, back from where it came by Virgil Van Dijk. And now Andy Robertson passes it forward, and Jota was a little fortunate there. His infield pass took a deflection but fell into the path of Thiago, and then Firmino in on the challenge, quite strong on Rodri, who went to ground, and then Bernardo Silva slides in, goes to ground, might have caught Jota, who hopped away from that challenge. Referee Taylor allows it to go, and the ball ends up back at the feet of Ederson to our left.
Jurgen Klopp really unhappy with that challenge, having a word with the fourth official. Yeah, it's feisty, isn't it? With a niggle.
But you'd expect that. Andy Madley is the fourth official. You know, the thing is as well, when you're successful, like these two clubs are, you do end up playing each other quite often. So as well as the league matches last season, remember the FA Cup semi-final, the Community Shield at the start of this season. So you know what familiarity breeds, Chris? Here's Rodri playing the ball to Akanji halfway inside his own half.
We'll ask Robbie Savage that in 6:06.
Looking forward to that. Here's Ake to the left-hand side, and then Rodri just puts his foot on the ball, just taps it to his left to Ake, and then forward towards Gundogan. I mean, it's not very often we've seen Manchester City with this sort of tactical approach, is it? So this is been specifically done for this match, these opponents. Thiago passing the ball forward towards Firmino, comes back to Thiago, right-footed from him. There is space for Elliott, who's able to get the ball down with his left foot. Harvey Elliott. Milner's making an overlapping run, instead it goes infield towards Salah. Now Fabinho just moves away and past Foden. Salah to Elliott. Milner is still up there, forward of Elliott. Elliott now takes over, still in the full-back position. Salah, two City players are there with him. Bernardo Silva and Salah pushing and shoving one another, and he's shielding it behind for what is a goal kick to Manchester City, and that's well defended by City. Came to nothing for Liverpool.
Yeah, I have to say, I think City have been better defensively than offensively. And Pep Guardiola, he's screaming instruction to his players.
We've got The electronic board going up. We'll see in a moment how much added time there is. Just 1 minute of added time. So 0-0. Looks as though it'll be a goalless first half here at Anfield, unless here come Liverpool. Elliott, Fabinho's in some space on the right, but passes it straight into the path of Rodri. Tried to pull it back, right-footed, but hit it straight into the path of Rodri, who is able to calmly play it away. And actually there is time for one more attack from Manchester City in this first half. De Bruyne infield towards Foden, and Foden stabs it out to Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side, just outside the box. Milner crouching in front of him, square, Rodri, square from him, Cancelo onto his right foot, shoots, but that's blocked. Took all the pace off it, Andy Robertson. And then Robertson just lifts it, cushions it forward to Jota. I think that'll be it, although Anthony Taylor says no, there is still time for this attack, but Jota then wasn't able to find the pass, and that is it. There is the whistle. Goalless. No goals in the first half between Liverpool and Manchester City as the players head towards the dressing rooms, and this is the first half verdict of Chris Sutton.
Yeah, I think Jurgen Klopp will be happy with the performance of his Liverpool team. Nothing really too clear-cut. Jota had an opportunity with the header. Manchester City, not so sure what Pep Guardiola will make of that first half. They had the two biggest opportunities, I think, the Haaland header at the latter part of the first half, and that opportunity one-on-one in the Liverpool, or down the Liverpool right-hand side, where Haaland tried to lift it over Alisson. Big opportunity for him. He normally gobbles them up, but maybe the second half will be better, John.
Yeah, those are the three biggest chances, aren't they? Haaland with those three opportunities. If he was in form, you would have thought he'd score them. But Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0 is the half-time score here at Anfield.
Thank you, John. Chris, I didn't think I'd be saying to you at half-time, it never really got going, that, did it?
No, I think that's a compliment to Liverpool and the way that they've stifled Manchester City. I've seen Manchester City so many times this season, as you have, Darren, and they come out of the traps and they play a really slick, fast passing game. But Liverpool have really condensed the middle of the park, and there hasn't been a lot of space in there for the Manchester City players to really dominate an area which, of course, they look to dominate. But they have had the better chances. But as a whole, I think Jurgen Klopp will go in at half-time and say, more of the same. Maybe, in the final third we just need to supply better crosses, or that last pass hasn't quite been there. But from Manchester City, I expect so much more in the second half.
OK, Chris, John, thank you. Second half commentary to come from Anfield. 0-0 at half-time between Liverpool and Manchester City, a game that I'm sure at some stage will get going, but it hasn't quite hit the heights as yet. You're listening to 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Quite a few results from earlier today. We'll bring you some reaction. We'll talk about the results that we have in already. And then second half commentary from Anfield to come from John and Chris. Liverpool against Manchester City. It's all coming up after the 5 Live news with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Chancellor Jeremy Hunt has insisted that Liz Truss remains in charge of the government despite the significant change in direction since his appointment on Friday. Speculation about her future among Conservative MPs is intensifying. This afternoon, the former Minister Crispin Blunt said the game was up for her. Party rules would need to be changed to allow for the Prime Minister to be replaced so soon after becoming leader. Sir Craig Oliver is a former Downing Street Director of Communications.
What they're worried about is, can the party actually agree on somebody who will be made Prime Minister by acclamation? What they fear is that different sides will not stand down and there'll be another fight. And in that situation, it goes almost beyond catastrophe, I think. If there's a fight, they will face a general election almost certainly.
Environmental groups say they won't be intimidated by threats from the government to beef up laws to prevent them causing problems in city centres. The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has announced plans for a crackdown on such protests to prevent disruption for the public. Adam Wagner is a barrister. He thinks new measures are unnecessary and are aimed at stopping larger legitimate protests.
One of the issues we saw in the pandemic, when there was a kind of preview of what happens when you put the police in charge and the Home Secretary in charge of who gets to protest about what on our streets and peacefully, you get into very significant difficulties like what happened with the Sarah Everard vigil. So I think that this government and the police should be careful what they wish for.
Officials in Iraq are looking into the disappearance of almost £2.5 billion from the bank account of the state tax agency. Documents suggest the money was placed in the bank accounts of 5 companies over an 11-month period before being withdrawn. And Buckingham Palace says more than 1,000 stuffed Paddington bears and other teddies left by people as tributes to Queen Elizabeth have been donated to the children's charity Bernardo's. They'll be delivered to the charity in the coming weeks.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen live on digital, online, smart speaker, or the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sport.
Welcome back to 5 Live Premier League Sunday. I'm Darren Fletcher. It's Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0 at half-time. And remember, after the match finishes, Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be taking your calls on 606. Lines are open now, 08085 909 693. You can text or tweet hashtag BBC 606. Now, there's plenty to talk about after Arsenal made it 3 wins on the bounce to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League to 4 points for the time being after a 1-0 victory over Leeds on what was an eventful day at Elland Road. The match was halted after 20 seconds due to referee Chris Kavanagh losing communication with the video assistant referee officials. Here's the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta.
It was hectic, it was very passionate, it was full of energy and different moments, and just to find a way to win in this league after playing Thursday night in Norway and with the issues that we had. Credit to the boy, we showed a real resilience and willingness to win under any circumstances.
Your goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale felt that in many ways it was the worst performance of the season, so to have that mental fortitude to get over the line must please you a great deal.
Great. I think you need a keeper in these moments when you are struggling. You need individuals to step in. Aaron was, I think, incredible to do that. And we had a moment where we had some doubts. I think the team found a way again to get a bit more control of the game and find a way to win it.
I'm sure you've been asked countless times about VAR decision A, B and C across different seasons, but well, it worked today, didn't it? That's what it's there for, particularly as regards Gabriel.
Well, it wasn't working before the game. That's why the league got delayed, but I'm glad that it did work at the end because it turned out to be crucial for the final result.
I wonder, just as a final point, the team did start exceptionally quickly, didn't they, after that delay? It kind of set the tone, didn't it?
Absolutely. I think the first time we had moments that we played one of the best that we have played, but we weren't ruled enough to finish the actions in the right way. And then we turned out to have a very difficult second half that as well, I think Leeds deserves some credit or a lot of credit for that.
The result leaves Leeds United winless in their last 6 Premier League matches now, and we'll hopefully hear from their manager Jesse Marsch before we head back to Anfield. And Manchester United and Newcastle played out the goalless draw at Old Trafford. Cristiano Ronaldo was visibly unhappy at being taken off, and Manchester United did squander some late chances after that. So why was he removed? Here's Erik ten Hag.
We have 4 games in 10 days, and especially for the strikers, they have to run. The physical output they have to deliver is huge. So I have to protect my players as well to keep the freshness in. And when I have a player as Rashford on the bank and he was under weather, that's why he didn't start. But then you bring energy in, and we have seen the effect on that because he created 2 huge chances.
When you look at the chances created after Cristiano left the field, you've obviously got to look at your fixture schedule, as you say. Do you not stand there as a manager and think a guy who scored all those club goals may well have finished one of those chances?
Yeah, but I don't think so. Because he needs the freshness, and he did a good job. He had a really an impact in the game, and then in the last half an hour, another can finish it. All the good work he did. But also for the coming games and the games we need the 5-6 players in front who have to rotate to keep the freshness, because we have to perform every game, and in 2 days, 2.5 days, another game is coming up, and we have to be ready for that. And after that, 2 days after, we have to cover the next game. So it's a lot of games we have to cover.
How are you finding managing that whole fixture schedule? Because like you say, you've got to focus on this game, but at the same time you've got one eye on Spurs on Wednesday. They're coming relentlessly.
Yeah, it's clear. So that's why I have to manage that. that process, that I have to keep everyone sharp, but also fresh. And especially for strikers, it's important that they keep their freshness.
So there is the explanation from the Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag. 0-0 at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Newcastle. A Mason Mount double and some unbelievable saves by Kepa Arrizabalaga ensured Chelsea's 2-0 win over Aston Villa. Boos from the home crowd were given to Steven Gerrard and his team at full time. Robin Cowan spoke to the Aston Villa manager.
For me, I'm someone who moves on pretty quickly. We have to keep persevering, and if we continue to find that level of performance, I've got every confidence and belief that these players will gobble them chances up. And so we've given everything to the game. I'm proud of the players, what they give for the first 60 minutes, but in my position, we can't keep saying that. We need to turn these results into wins and try and move up this table as quick as we can.
What can you do yourself and your staff and even the players to, I don't know, is it instilling more belief? Is there anything else you can try to do to turn this around? I
think in the front line we can keep trying to build confidence and belief, and hopefully the chances will turn in our favour and that lucky one will go in for us, which might trigger some confidence and belief in the front line. But for me, it's about protecting these players now. If there's criticism, which there will be on the back of a defeat, I need to take that responsibility away from the players. And I said to the players in the dressing room, if you can replicate the first 60 minutes in the coming games, you'll move up this league rapidly, because Chelsea couldn't live with us for large parts of that first hour.
And that's got to give you a lot of belief in your position as well. I know it's something that you can't control. Are you in dialogue at all with owners, CEO, things like that?
Listen, my dialogue with the ownership of the club will always remain private. I've said on many occasions I've had support from above. Unfortunately, a lot of that support's in the treatment room right now. But from my position, I keep fighting, keep leading, keep trying to change this. I'll take whatever criticism and pressure comes my way. I'll always do that and accept that. If that helps the players perform like they did for the first hour, I don't think this team will have any issues.
After the match, the Chelsea boss Graham Potter revealed Reece James will be in a brace for the next 4 weeks, casting doubt on his chances of making the World Cup. Let's hear what he had to say after the match.
Well, Graham, it looked like a comfortable scoreline on paper, but not so comfortable in terms of the actual afternoon today for you guys.
No, not at all. Aston Villa made us suffer, absolutely. Certainly in the first half. We started off okay, and then the second part of the first half, we needed our goalkeeper. We had to suffer, and that's probably a big part of the game that allowed us to stabilise a little bit at half time. We were a bit better in the second half, I thought, more stable. So in the end, it's a fantastic point for us. We have to admit that Aston Villa gave us a fantastic game, but delighted for the players. It's an important 3 points, especially coming back from a Champions League trip. It's a particular challenge, but fair play to the boys. They're stuck in there.
You've put your belief in Kepa when a lot of people haven't believed in him. During his time at Chelsea, he's had some difficult times, but it looks like he's really thriving off your belief in him.
Well, he's been a fantastic professional from the start. Very hard-working, does his best every day, and when you have that start point, it gives you a chance that your quality can shine through. And today's quality was amazing. A couple of fantastic saves that we needed. So delighted for him that he's able to contribute to some points.
And Mason Mount getting on his first goals of the season, remarkably, given his form. I mean, just how important is he to Chelsea and also to kind of English football coming up?
Yeah, and he's been a joy to work with, Mason. Really hard-working, intelligent, has got the quality to execute those type of goals, and he's also assisted. So really nice for him that he's scored today. But I've been really impressed with him.
It's another victory for Chelsea under their new manager, Graham Potter. Declan Rice's first Premier League goal in nearly a year denied Southampton a much-needed win as West Ham fought back to draw at St Mary's. It means it's the Saints' first point in 5 games, but they're still in the relegation zone. Back to Andy Giddings at Ellen Road. He's got the Leeds manager, Jesse Marsh, with him.
So, Leeds United manager Jesse Marsh, just sum up your emotions after everything that's gone on today.
Disappointment, a little bit of frustration with what a crazy day it is, but also pride to see our team play with discipline, play with confidence, play with belief, and actually showcase the way that we want to play. So I think Arsenal has walked through the league up to this point, and I think on the day we were better. So we still have more to do, especially in the attacking third, to reward a lot of our good work, but it's a step in the right direction.
How did you manage and deal with postponement, 40-minute break, coming back.
Yeah, a strange day in that way, but we just said let's stay concentrated. That was a big part of the task today, was to stick to the tactics, to concentrate and have discipline in the way we wanted to play, and we did that. So again, we just got to reward ourselves more.
How important is it in the next couple of games that you get that win? 5 or 6 without a win now, get something on the board and reward for those efforts.
Yeah. We've got to continue to put game after game, match after match, good performances together, come away with more points, score more goals, find in moments when we're dominating matches like we did in Palace last weekend and now how we do today, and to come away with nothing is almost ridiculous. So we've got to figure that out. We've got to mature, we've got to keep pushing, but we've got to maintain belief.
That's the Leeds United manager, Jesse Marsh. In the Championship, it finished Hull City 0, Birmingham City 2. That's despite the fact the goals were too big when Birmingham got there. Earlier, Rangers beat Motherwell 2-1 away from home. It was Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. Earlier today in the WSL, Manchester United continued their perfect start to the season and topped the table after a 4-0 win against Brighton. Chelsea beat Everton 3-0. Manchester City got their first win of the season, beating Leicester 4-0. And Tottenham saw off Liverpool, winning by a goal to 0. And in El Clasico, it finished Real Madrid 3, Barcelona 1, Benzema, Valverde and Rodrigo for Real, Ferran Torres with the consolation for Xabi's side. Gallagher Premiership, Harlequins 19, Leicester Tigers 27 is a full-time score. The players are back out at Anfield. Let's rejoin John and Chris.
Thank you, Darren. Yes, welcome everyone back to Anfield. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. City were out first. Liverpool are now taking their positions. No changes at the break. So Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Milner, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson, Elliott, Fabinho and Thiago, Salah, Firmino and Jota. And Manchester City with Ederson in goal, Akanji, Diaz and Ake playing for the most part as 3 central defenders. Cancelo on the right, Foden on the left, Rodri and Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland. So 0-0 it is as the second half gets underway here at Anfield. Listeners to the BBC's World Service joined us on 5 Live 2 as the ball is played out to the far side in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand and out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City that will be taken by Cancelo. Manchester City had more of the chances in the first half, such as they were. But Haaland, who had 3 of them, but not able to provide the finish. And then a free kick is given for a challenge on Thiago on the far side. So Chris Sutton is up here with us, high in the main stand. Chris, a Premier League winner, a Golden Boot winner in the Premier League as well. What do you think? What do you think we've got in store in the second half?
Well, I'm hoping a livelier second half. I actually think Pep will be really disappointed with the first half display from Manchester City. I think that watching them this season on so many occasions, they come out of the traps, they take the game to the opposition. I just wonder whether there's that maybe too much respect they've shown for Liverpool in the first half. Liverpool this season really have lacked confidence and belief, so I'm surprised that City really didn't get at them more. But
he said they are still Manchester City's toughest opponent. As City come forward, a deep cross from the right-hand side. Alisson came, but it was beyond him. Bounces down. Milner was there. Milner standing in as the right back. Has played there before, of course. He's had difficult times last season against Phil Foden playing as right back, but turns and puts it out of play. Ibrahima Konate, if you're wondering and you weren't listening earlier, he's got a muscle problem. That's why he's not involved. So neither Matip nor Konate, currently both injured, can be involved, and that's why Gomez is alongside Van Dijk. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is among the substitutes today. City playing it forward in these lime green shirts with the grey horizontal stripes, grey shorts, yellow socks. Ball played forward by Diaz, but that will bounce over the top of Foden, cleared away by Milner. City come again with Gundogan in this second half. Manchester City are playing from right to left, so they are attacking the end where their couple of thousand, 2,500, 3,000 supporters are in the lower tier of the rapidly changing Anfield Road end of the stadium. Gomez takes the ball down and passes it back to Alisson, who will with his right foot, find Gomez again, who goes long, very long with this, but Diaz was able just to watch it onto his right instep, and Manchester City are back in possession. Strangely subdued the atmosphere at the start of the second half here at Anfield. Maybe people are still making their way back to their seats, but perhaps that just reflects the fact that the first half didn't really live up to expectations.
Yeah, maybe the mood within the stadium about the Liverpool team this season, really.
De Bruyne passing the ball forward, but Alisson comes out of his penalty area into the full-back position and clears it to the halfway line. Suggestion there that Cancelo nudged into Robertson. That's what those supporters there in the first few rows of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. That's the point they were making, but no free kick from Anthony Taylor, who's the referee. City back in possession again. Here's Ake playing as the left-sided of the three central defenders. Now Rodri drops back just to his right and gives the ball back to the Dutch international. Ake, who hits it low through the middle, but a stretch from Gomez and an interception. Then Thiago is onto the ball, and Jota, though, is forced to turn and give it back into his own half.
I think City more aggressive, they seem. Look, it's only the first couple of minutes of the second half, but more aggressive with the press.
And Liverpool haven't really got started in the second half, as it's played forward by Robertson. This is one for Firmino to chase, but Diaz gets there comfortably and plays it over the halfway line into the path of Robertson, though, as Liverpool have it back. And then Jota is nudged over by Akanji. Down to the ground he goes, just a few yards inside the City half, and it's a free kick on the far side, 0-0.
And you mentioned the mood within the stadium at the start of the second half. You know, when I arrived today, chatting to Liverpool fans wandering around the stadium, they didn't really believe that this Liverpool team could beat the City team today. They were pretty negative about the team.
Thiago's caught in possession by Haaland, and Manchester City have got it back, and Rodri gives it to Haaland, and Haaland slips it through to De Bruyne, who backheels it but didn't get enough contact on it. He wanted to knock it back into the path of Haaland, so Liverpool come forward, and Firmino plays it over the top to Salah, and Salah's one-on-one, and Salah shoots wide. Ederson came out, and I think Salah has collided with him as well as he hit the shot on the follow-through. I think he might have caught him on the shin, but what a chance, one-on-one. Salah, the hat-trick man in Glasgow, couldn't put it away today at Anfield.
Oh, it's a brilliant touch from Firmino, one into the other, slides Salah through, and he sees Ederson coming out. He's trying to find the far corner, and it's actually a brilliant save from Ederson. It's a brilliant save from Ederson, because the ball is creeping into the far side, and Ederson didn't see it in real time, gets his right thumb to the ball and round the post. I think a goal kick has been given, but that is a sensational piece of goalkeeping. Having said that, one-on-one Mo Salah in these situations, you expect the back of the net to bowl. It's a massive opportunity, but just how big a save could that be?
Great piece of camera work as well. They picked a great angle to show us on our little screen here, and he just threw out one of those black and red and yellow gloves of his and got the tiniest touch, but you could see that was heading into the bottom corner. And Ederson, well, he's earned his bonus there for that. If Manchester City were to go on to win this, it remains 0-0, and he's still got a problem, Ederson,
with his left foot, I think.
Was he caught by Salah, or did he fall awkwardly? Did you see that?
I think did Salah catch him with the follow-through? I'm not sure he did.
That's the impression I got, but he might, you never know, he might have just caught his studs in the ground. So that means that Stefan Ortega, the goalkeeper who arrived in the summer, is warming up on the touchline.
We're seeing it again here on the monitor. Salah ahead of Ake, just trying to feed it into the far corner. I don't think there's anything in that with Salah, I think.
Or did he actually get caught by Ake, his own defender, who was running in there?
Well, he's up now.
I think he's going to be okay. The Manchester City Brazilian goalkeeper.
Diaz taking, it looks like no, Ederson's going to take it.
Ederson says, I'm okay, I'm able to take this, so he said, or is he? Diaz is still there talking to him about it, whether, in fact, I think Diaz is going to take it. Yes, he is. Ederson's just stepping away.
I think Diaz is saying to Ederson, do you want me to pass you the ball here? And Ederson's saying, no, my foot hurts.
Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Lines are open for 6:06, by the way, to talk about this and all of the events of the day. Haaland carrying the ball through the middle. Fabinho with a challenge, Bernardo Silva, then De Bruyne back to Haaland, and then Alisson puts in the save, but then it's driven in from the angle, and Manchester City have the lead through Phil Foden, who forced it in at the back post. Wild celebrations. Liverpool are unhappy. Alisson came out and dived and saved at the feet of Haaland. They've all gone to the referee. They're saying that Alisson had the ball under control. Yep. When Haaland slid in.
Key. Yeah, it is. It's the ball. I mean, Haaland is so quick, but Alisson is saying, you can see him there, 2 fingers up at the referee, saying, I've got 2 hands on that ball. I've got it under control.
But referee is still talking. VAR are having a look at this now, as they would. Of course they would. And what do you think? We've just seen it again. Actually, you saw it. I didn't see it. Foden on the follow-up hit the ball, and it actually came off Gomez on the line into the back of the net.
Does he have...
Is there enough control?
Yeah, I'm not so sure there is. I think it's one Haaland's entitled to go with.
Oh, they're calling Anthony Taylor across to have a look at this, and Pep Guardiola is incensed. Guardiola comes across with palms apart, and he stepped onto the pitch. Anthony Taylor is actually walking here because the screen here at Anfield is in the tunnel, on the dressing room side of the ground, so he had to brush off Pep Guardiola, just wave him away. But Guardiola went across to Andy Madley, the 4th official, and he knows, Guardiola knows, that if Anthony Taylor's been called to come and have a look at this...
They're checking a foul, Haaland on Fabinho. In fact, Haaland does tug Fabinho.
Goal's ruled out. They know it, Anfield knows it. Pep Guardiola is clapping his hands sarcastically. He walks across to Andy Madley, thinks better of it. He's waving his arms in the air, Guardiola. The goal is ruled out. It's still 0-0.
So as a matter of fact, it wasn't about whether Alisson had the ball under control. It was earlier on in the move.
Oh, now the Liverpool fans down there behind Guardiola, behind the Manchester City dugout, are winding up Guardiola, and he's reacted here. He's turned around and he's waved his arms back at the Liverpool fans, who are returning that compliment.
Guardiola's got that wrong, John. I've got to say, it was a foul from Haaland on Fabinho.
Here's Elliott through the middle, and Jota's onto this, but well defended. The ball bounces almost to Firmino. Salah's there, he chips it across. Header from Jota, he's put it wide. A flying header from Jota. As Ederson came out, he couldn't direct it on target. He put it wide in the 6-yard box.
Well, we wondered if the game would come to life, and boy, has it. But Jota's got to score. He's got to score. Salah, delightful ball, stands it up to Jota, who's free 6 yards out. Ederson was flapping, and he just has to head that down. Ederson had committed himself there. It's a huge miss from Jota.
And so it remains Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. But this is more like it. And now here's Elliott on the right-hand side, but he runs the ball out of play. Just to clarify again, incidentally, the goal that had seen Manchester City have scored, Phil Foden, the ruling was that VAR spotted a foul by Haaland on Fabinho.
Earlier on in the move. And then, of course, there was the incident where Haaland went in with Alisson. Did Alisson have it under control? That was immaterial in the end.
And you, Chris, you feel that VAR's got that one right?
Absolutely 100% right, because Haaland did pull Fabinho to the floor, and Manchester City scored off the back of that, really, so that was right to disallow the goal.
0-0, 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC, on BBC Sounds as well. De Bruyne now, oh, that's a pass. He really hit that like a kicking horse. Foden now on the left-hand side, gives it back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne pulls it back, oh, an outstretched leg from Fabinho to get that away, and Liverpool clear downfield towards Salah, and suddenly the game's opened out, and that's good for the spectacle. Still goalless, but it has that feeling.
I'm surprised you said kicking horse and not mule.
Well, donkey as well, or indeed ass. Just over half an hour to play. Here's Diaz, and then Haaland in the centre circle. It just has that feel that a goal might not be too far away and now Foden's carrying it forward, having already been denied, up to the edge of the area, might have been fouled, keeps his feet brilliantly, he's in the box, he gives it back to Gundogan, who shoots, and it comes off the head of Milner, which carried it away wide, and Haaland there says to the City fans behind the goal, come on, let's be having you.
It's like the first half was a warm-up, wasn't it? And now they're getting going. The ball is glued to Phil Foden's foot as he drives from left to right, turns back out to Gundogan, who hammers a left foot shot. Good block by Fabinho.
That was in the midst of all of that excitement as well. That little exchange between Guardiola and the Liverpool fans, that was choice. Corner for Manchester City, still 0-0. Gundogan, it's a deep one. Ake heads it back across. Haaland stretches. Oh, Fabinho in with a challenge on Diaz there. The aerial challenge. They caught one another. Bounces down for Liverpool out of the box. Firmino plays it across, and then Milner waxes clearance that actually hits the Manchester City player's Diaz, knocks him off his feet, and the ball bounces out of play. And the Liverpool fans enjoyed Diaz's moment of discomfort, shall we call it.
Yeah, Milner went over, Diaz went over, with a pinball in the box, chances at both ends.
So plenty to talk about now with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on 606, with the lines open for the 5 Live football phone in on this Sunday night. 08 085 909 693. Book your call 85058. Don't leave Chris Sutton sitting here at Anfield on his own in the dark. Here's Rodri.
That's most evenings, John.
Well, it is. De Bruyne turning and playing the ball back towards the edge of his penalty area. Mind you, we'll all be sitting in the dark this winter, won't we? Ake squaring across to Diaz. Rodri, long and right-footed down the left-hand side. Foden gets the ball under control. Lovely touch of that as well. Harvey Elliott's going with him. Now Gundogan receives it. Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva supposed to knock it infield. Guardiola back again to Bernardo Silva, who's low cross into the near post. Has gone a long way, but a stretch from Virgil Van Dijk.
Where was Haaland?
Where was he?
On his heels there.
Very good point.
Brilliant ball. And Gomez let the ball run across him. Van Dijk in the right place.
Salah, the home supporters feel that Ake was pulling him over there. He went down. No free kick given. Ake, as Manchester City continue to have possession inside the Liverpool half as they play from right to left in this second period. City with it on the halfway line. Out to the right-hand side it goes. And now Cancelo chasing after the ball, but it's turned away. And then Thiago does well to keep his feet. He was fouled, but referee Taylor says play on. He's played the advantage. Thiago then does well against Akanji and drags the ball back and gives it now to Jota, who's away down the left-hand side, and Jota's cross has gone a long way. It's arrived at Elliott's feet, struggled to get it under control, and then hits the shot into the recovering Foden, and it's a corner to Liverpool, and it's a chance for a little bit of relief here for Jurgen Klopp's side.
Yeah, driving run from Jota down the left-hand side, and he fires a left-footed cross in. The ball goes through to Harvey Elliott, who takes a poor first touch, and the chance was gone. But Liverpool with the corner. Can Milner get the delivery right?
Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Liverpool corner, Milner from the right, flicks the head of Firmino, comes out to Elliott, 30 yards from goal, further back to Gomez, who overhits the pass, and it bounces through. Well, we've got less than half an hour left. No changes have been made yet. Wouldn't be surprised if the managers are beginning to think about possibly making some changes. There are a number of substitutes warming up down there to our left, in front of the main stand. Some kind of muffled announcement being made.
Yeah, maybe a Jack Grealish.
Yep.
Come on and make his mark.
Gomez playing it over the top into space, and Salah's got away from Ake down there, and he takes it on into the full-back position, and he plays it across, stretch from Firmino, but he couldn't get there. I mean, it was at waist height, maybe even higher than that, and he launched himself at it with his right foot. Got a touch on it, but couldn't direct it goal. Let's go.
Not far away. Salah just standing the ball up on the right-hand side with his left foot near the byline, and Firmino in the centre of the goal. The ball just a little bit too far for him, and he cannot hook it on target.
And then Gundogan runs it forward and was just nudged over, and actually that's the first yellow card of the match. He was clipped by, I think it was Fabinho. He just clipped his ankles as he was going past him, Gundogan, and that is the first yellow, the first booking of the match. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. So free kick just left of the centre circle. Gundogan climbs to his feet, just taps it square with his left foot. Rodri now to the right hand side, and then Manchester City go back towards the halfway line. So the big chances in the second half, but no goals. Salah, when he was put through, a super save by Ederson, stuck out a glove, forced it wide. And here's Gundogan now. Gundogan on the edge of the area. Haaland is in, shoots. Oh, super save. Alisson down to his right, full stretch. Got a good hand to it, pushed it wide across the box, and Liverpool cleared it away.
It's a brilliant run from Gundogan, and he has that awareness, and he slips the ball to Haaland on the edge of the 18-yard box. Takes his first touches slightly behind him, left-footed shot. Good save from Alisson.
City take a quick free kick. City take a quick throw on the left-hand side. They're still in the full-back position. Firmino clears, it's blocked back into the Liverpool penalty area, and then Fabinho turns it out for a throw down the left-hand side. I've noticed he does actually quite like that, doesn't he? The shot from slightly behind himself, Haaland. I don't know whether he feels he gets a bit of extra purchase on it. But this time, Alisson was up to it. And City thought that they should have been given a throw down in the right-back position, and it's been given to Liverpool.
James Milner has pushed Bernardo Silva, I think it was, in the back and over. Just seeing the chance again. Gundogan, clever little pass. It is, it's just behind him. Don't know whether he takes the best first touch. And he scuffs it a little bit by his standards, and it's Alisson, outstretched right hand.
Liverpool feeling that Firmino was perhaps shoved in the back there, but Anthony Taylor's let that one go. Still 0-0. Haaland has failed to score in only 2 appearances so far for Manchester City. This is his 14th, and one of them was against Liverpool, if you remember, in the Community Shield, and the other was against Bournemouth in the 4-0 home win. And he's now had, well, I think that's 4 chances now in this match, isn't it?
Well,
5?
John, it sounds
4.
like you're writing him off. I'm not going to do that just yet, John.
Do you think so? You don't think he's a busted flush?
Oh, an amazing player, isn't he? What a start. Has there ever been such a start?
Well, he is the, you know, I said that this match in recent years has been the hottest ticket in town right at the start. Well, he is the individual who is the hottest ticket in town. You just want to see him, you know, if you're interested in football, you want to see him play live. Thiago dispossessed by Bernardo Silva, and now Cancelo goes for a high long pass over the top. De Bruyne on the chase, but Van Dijk got underneath it and heads it back out to the far side, where Liverpool, Andy Robertson can't keep it in. Still waiting for the first substitution, aren't we? 25 minutes to go. 0-0.
Both managers surprisingly reluctant.
Here's Foden now on the left-hand side, receives it from Rodri. 2 Liverpool fans are on him. 6:06 coming, the lines are open. 08, 085, 909, 693 to talk to Chris, who's here, and Robbie Savage, who's back in the studio. And during the course of that, all being well, we'll bring you the live interviews with Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. Here's Foden playing the ball out towards the left-hand side to Bernardo Silva, turns back onto his left foot, and now he's weaving lovely patterns, the little Portuguese, and gives it to the German. Gundogan into the penalty area, but Gomez comes across, gets a touch, bounce behind. This time it's Gundogan who's saying to the Manchester City fans in the Anfield Road end, come on, let's hear some noise.
Yeah, and City, territorial-wise, they're really dominant in this second half, pushing Liverpool back. But then Liverpool, their big chance came from a counter-attack, didn't it, Mo Salah?
Well, here's the corner from the left-hand side. Foden and Gundogan together. I think it is going to be Gundogan. It is who takes it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Diaz got his head to it, but that sent it flashing up and across and well wide of the goal and behind. And it's a goal kick to Liverpool. And it is still 0-0. So still waiting for the opening goal. As I mentioned, there's only been one 0-0 draw between them in the last 32 meetings of Liverpool and Manchester City. That was the one where, if you remember, Mahrez missed the penalty right towards the end, put it over the top of the crossbar into the Anfield Road end. Foden shielding it from Elliott, and Elliott's had a nibble there, kicked out at him, fouled him. He's okay, caught him on the calf, quickly back on his feet. We've got quarter of the match to play. Firmino now has dispossessed Rodri, and the ball bounces to Salah, and Salah gives it to Jota, and he's in the area, and the ball gets caught up underneath his feet, and City are able to get a touch on it. Cancelo and Rodri back in there, and actually City, it could open up for them. De Bruyne flicks the ball with his right foot to Bernardo Silva, who heads it into the path of Gundogan, and Gundogan pulls it across to Haaland on his left foot, back to Gundogan, he shoots, bounces back after being blocked, back to Gundogan. Bernardo Silva's going to have a go, but Alisson diving down to his left, full stretch, knew it was going wide by 2 or 3 yards, and it's a goal kick to Liverpool.
One into the other. Big chance for Liverpool. Jota took a really poor first touch when the ball was released in from Mo Salah, and then Manchester City break down the other end. Eventually comes back. Van Dijk defends well, and Bernardo Silva 25 yards out doesn't hit the target.
It's going to be Darwin Núñez. You might be able to hear the Liverpool supporters behind us singing his name. 2 goals in his last 2 appearances, but not in the team today. And Firmino now to Salah, and Salah calls the shot, but beyond the far post by a yard or 2. Looks as though it's going to be a triple change for for Liverpool. But Salah in there, you know, we've seen him bury those before.
Well, especially from that position, the Salah position on that right-hand side of the box, coming inside on his left foot. I've got to say, Firmino's link-up was absolutely sublime. Takes a touch, feeds it to Salah, chops inside of Diaz, and trying to bend it into that far corner. He's not far away.
Roberto Firmino, who was the subject of fact of the day on Drive this week. The fact being that he was discovered by a dentist in his native Brazil when he was playing for a junior club, and the rest is history. Ball played forward for Manchester City, a flick by Foden. Gomez comes across, and Gomez will turn back onto his left foot and then tugs at Bernardo Silva, and Bernardo Silva then passes, and it bounces down for Liverpool, and they're able to clear through Milner. Rather grateful there. Milner turns to Gomez, and there's a little exchange of words between them, and it's put out for a throw to Manchester City down the left.
I think James Milner's saying, I didn't get a shout then, but should have been aware Foden was there behind him.
Here's Ake now for Manchester City. He's into the box, he plays it across. A shuffled clearance, actually. He's not cleared the penalty area. And then a stretching away from Fabinho. So that change for Liverpool. Núñez coming on, so is Carvalho. Is that Jordan Henderson? Yes, it is, who's the other Liverpool player down there. So triple change. Jurgen Klopp almost squeezes the breath out of Fabio Carvalho there as the 2 of them were on the touchline, put his arms around him. And so that will take place next time the ball goes out of play. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. Are we going to get a goal? Still plenty of time for these sides to have a 3-3 draw. 20 minutes to go. De Bruyne curls it in, looking for Haaland, but Gomez was able to stoop and head it away. Still Manchester City though, with Bernardo Silva, Foden as well. The 2 of them together. Foden again, Foden, right-footed ball over the top of Haaland, and that's all the way through, beyond the far post. Goal kick for Liverpool, and we'll see this change now. So that is it for Roberto Firmino today. No goals from today, joint top scorer this season. Also substituted Salah coming off. So for that's the second consecutive Sunday in the Premier League, taken off against Arsenal, taken off against Manchester City.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise that. Mo Salah, or has he been taken off?
No, hang on. Jurgen Klopp saying, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp saying we're not making the change just yet. So has someone else perhaps said that they've got a problem? He's come across. Yeah, he's walking back on. He's not coming off. Fabinho is coming off. So Firmino and Fabinho. Salah walks back on, having had a chat with Jurgen Klopp. Slightly odd, that.
The Elliott.
And you're right, Chris. Harvey Elliott makes way So Jordan Henderson and Fabio Carvalho, who's a real talent. I don't know how much of him you've seen so far, Chris, whether it be for Fulham or in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, seen him a couple of times. Similar type of player, isn't he, to Harvey Elliott? Quite slight, tricky.
Yeah, talented. Lines are open for 606, Chris. 08 085 909 693. If you're at Hull City today, Birmingham 2-0 winners. If you saw the saw come out to the goal posts, I'm sure Chris and Robbie would love to hear from you. Troy Deeney actually scored a penalty and missed a penalty in that match. Wow. Maybe the goal wasn't big enough. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0.
Could do with a goal in this.
We could.
Just so we don't have to talk about potato bravas as Robbie Savage. His pronunciation goes on Spanish tapas.
The amount of time he spent in Spain as well, you'd think he'd know. Liverpool 0, Manchester City 0. So 08 085 909 693 is the number to call to speak to Robbie and Chris. If you're on your way back from any of the football matches this afternoon up and down the country, they would love to hear from you. 08 085 909 693.
And just with the Liverpool substitutions, that hasn't affected the shape of their team in any way.
No, Carvalho is playing on the right-hand side, where Elliott was playing, right-hand side of the midfield. Here's Gundogan playing the ball back to the halfway line. Akanji forward to De Bruyne, who was looking to sweep it up the right there, and then De Bruyne turned in and he's won a free kick. Anthony Taylor said he was tripped by Thiago, who was less than chuffed with that decision. Bent over, clutching his head, but it's a free kick in a good position, and we know that Manchester City, De Bruyne are well capable of delivering set pieces. Foden's there as well with De Bruyne.
Yeah, I think in the main Liverpool have dealt with De Bruyne pretty well for obvious reasons. As soon as he gets on the ball, getting one or two red jerseys out to him, putting him under pressure. Can Manchester City make something of this?
Free kick from out on the right. De Bruyne takes it high towards the back post, in fact, too close to the goalkeeper. Alisson comes, leaps high, makes an easy catch, delivers it downfield. Salah gets away, and now he's one-on-one, and this time he scores! 1-0 to Liverpool! Salah beat the defender, the last defender, turned him, beat him, took it on. He'd already had one in the match. One-on-one with Ederson, but this time he would not be denied, and it's Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0.
Oh, it's genius from Mo Salah, it really is. He hasn't been at his best this season. It's a poor free kick from Kevin De Bruyne. Alisson comes out and clutches it, and as we've seen on many occasions with Alisson, has that awareness, fires a ball out of his hands forward. Cancelo, who's behind Salah, tries to nick in front of him. Salah manoeuvres the ball brilliantly and is running through straight on goal at Ederson. Ederson, earlier in the half, got a brilliant touch. Salah went to the same side but found the corner this time. Brilliant finish, brilliant play from Salah. Great spot from Alisson, wasn't it? Long ball, Cancelo tries to nick in front of Salah. Great touch, and then just lifts the ball over the arm of Ederson. Liverpool have the lead.
Mo Salah scores his 9th goal of the season, and in the space of a week, suddenly hat-trick in Glasgow. Now he's scored against the champions here at Anfield, and Liverpool lead 1-0, and there are less than 15 minutes to play, and Manchester City now, with this scoreline, are facing their first Premier League defeat of the season, their first Premier League defeat since February. Akanji has picked up a knock and is struggling a little, but Liverpool have the ball, and here is Nunez, still yet to score at Anfield for Liverpool, and the Uruguayan substitute takes the ball on towards the edge of the D and shoots, and it flashes wide of the right post as he looks at it. Dipping shot wide, goal kick.
He's not far away, just loses his footing as he strikes the ball. Good driving run from the left-hand side.
Manchester City now having to come from behind in the match, with Mo Salah opening the scoring. A run through the middle. That Alisson delivery from the Liverpool goalkeeper was absolutely crucial. It went beyond, I think, the centre circle, and Salah just nicked it away from Cancelo, and the touch in there took the ball away. Cancelo was left, and Salah clipped it away left-footed. And now it's Liverpool bringing the ball forward with Nunez, who is just nudged over, and it's a yellow card for Akanji, and it's a free kick for Liverpool.
Yeah, Akanji was rattled a little bit earlier. He was on the floor, he felt he was fouled. Got up and told Anthony Taylor so, but that was wild. Got to say, Cancelo's awful for the goal though, John, because if he doesn't commit, Salah, however well he does, and it's a brilliant touch, but Cancelo doesn't need to commit to the long ball from Alisson. He just stays behind and stands Mo Salah up. There's little he can do.
We're in the 79th minute and Liverpool lead by 1-0. You can hear the effect, the transformative effect that goal has had on Anfield. Free kick, Robertson plays it in now, but it's headed away by Haaland. Milner with a shot, comes out to Henderson after being blocked, and Henderson, leaning back slightly, sends the shot over the top, a third of the way up the cup. So for Mo Salah now, that is 9 goals against Manchester City in 16 Liverpool appearances. It's his first goal in the Premier League since August, but as I say, it's his 4th of the week.
That's why I got him out of my fantasy team, John, and guess what?
Well, learn from your mistakes, I'm sure you will. And he's now scored in his last 4 home Premier League appearances against Manchester City. Liverpool leading 1-0. If it stays like this, Arsenal will have a 4-point lead at the top of the table tonight after their narrow 1-0 win against Leeds at Elland Road earlier. Arsenal, who've now won 9 out of 10 in the Premier League so far this season. Manchester City and Arsenal were due to be playing each other this midweek, but Arsenal have had to rearrange their Europa League match, so not yet. Red and white scarves being twirled, great noise. Liverpool supporters are trying to see their team through to what would be a famous victory, but Foden has other ideas. Foden's cross right across the penalty area to Cancelo on the right-hand side. Cancelo beats his man, Robertson, into the penalty area, but across comes the covering challenge from Jota to put it behind. Corner though to Manchester City.
Yeah, dancing feet from Cancelo on the far side, but he should have pulled the ball back to De Bruyne, who's in a better position, better crossing position, but got the opportunity now from the corner. 2 City players out there, looks like Foden, left-footed in-swinger.
Here's the corner for Manchester City to the near post, but it's straight at Robertson, who's able to sweep it away, and Liverpool still lead through that 76th minute goal from Mo Salah. Manchester City didn't score in Copenhagen in midweek, and now yet to get off the mark here in the Premier League. Tuesday was the first time they failed to score in a match in 24 matches in all competitions.
If I was really nasty, I'd ask you, when was the last time they failed to score in 2 matches, John?
2 matches in a row. Here's Rodri playing the ball over the top. Cancelo, and Haaland waiting in the middle, but Van Dijk got there first. Speeding back towards his goal line, headed it up and over the top of his own bar, and it's another corner to Manchester City. But he was licking his lips, the Norwegian.
And that's as good as a goal, isn't it? From Liverpool's point of view, brilliant defending, because Haaland, it had been 2 yards out.
Remember,
great volley from Cancelo back across, but Van Dijk's had a really good game.
Here's the latest City corner, flicked on at the near post by Akanji, but blocked by Liverpool. Bounces back for Carvalho over there on the left-hand side. Just a reminder, Pep Guardiola still yet to make a substitution, and we're in the 82nd minute as Anfield are appealing for a foul by Akanji on Carvalho, but referee Taylor has allowed play to continue. Akanji, who is on a yellow card, the ball has eventually run out of play. There's a bit of pushing and shoving. Salah is involved with Cancelo there. I'm sure Cancelo, he'll know, players know, when he's been the man that was caught out. Only 1 goal in the match. And now City with 7 minutes plus added time to rescue this one. Here's Rodri, turns in the centre circle. Rodri to the left-hand side. Of course, we are watching two teams here who are real specialists in scoring late goals. That's part of the makeup of what's made them successful over the course of these recent years. Foden infield towards Gundogan. City thought they had taken the lead, remember, early in the second half when Foden got the ball in the net, but it was ruled out by VAR for a foul in the build-up by Haaland on Fabinho. Bernardo Silva crosses from the left and that's deflected behind. It's another City corner, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and they're piling the pressure on, but Liverpool have something to hold on to. The process for City won't change. They'll still pop the ball around.
They take a quick corner. Foden to Gundogan. Gundogan low in, and Alisson drops on it and has it securely in his gloves.
Yeah, you know what? One of the City players has to get themselves across the near post. Goes through to Alisson. Saves to his left-hand side. Need to get across the goalkeeper's eye line there.
No, brilliant clearance from the Liverpool goalkeeper to Jota, and Jota couldn't find the pass infield to Salah. Oh dear, that's Thiago.
Yeah.
That was a nasty one. It's a yellow card. Anthony Taylor has got out very quickly, but he came in at some pace there, Thiago, and caught the Manchester City player.
That was wild, really wild. I just wonder, was this two-footed?
Rodri it is who was on the receiving end of that. I think he got his feet off the ground. I think he knew Thiago was coming.
Yeah.
And therefore, he did catch his standing foot.
You know what? Does he slip though? He does slip.
He does.
And that's
probably
exactly. That's why it's a yellow, because he slips. It's a lucky boy, very lucky boy.
On 5 Live, lines are open for Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage to take your calls on 606 08 085 909 693 to join in the conversation. Watch this on Match of the Day 2 tonight. Download the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning, and all of those Premier League commentaries we're bringing to you on BBC Radio Sport on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night this coming midweek. Here is Salah now. Salah down the right-hand side. Salah is trying to wriggle free of Bernardo Silva, and then both of them go to ground.
How is that not a foul?
It's not given as a free kick.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, John.
So Manchester City have got it back. I mean, Jurgen Klopp is incensed now. Tempers are rising. Liverpool with Gomez on the halfway line. Andy Madley is now having to deal with Jurgen Klopp and his furious coaches. I see that Manchester City are going to make the change. Alvarez is going to come on.
Well, Jurgen Klopp is actually squaring up to the assistant on the far side. He might get sent off.
He is. He's been sent off. Anthony Taylor has seen Jurgen Klopp, who brushed past Andy Madley. Did he actually drag him back? And Anthony Taylor produced the red card for the Liverpool manager, who has had to leave. He's walked straight away down the tunnel, Jurgen Klopp. And now there's a Liverpool player down out on the pitch.
Silva on Salah there.
Which has been spotted by Pep Guardiola and his coaches, and they are unhappy also.
I don't know what's going on. What we do know, it's bedlam. Milner's on the deck.
Milner's on the ground. VAR might be called into action here, because that might well have happened behind Anthony Taylor's back. And but Jurgen Klopp sent off, red card for the Liverpool manager in his 395th match in charge of Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, I've got to say, I have sympathy with Jurgen Klopp, because there was a foul on Mo Salah. The assistant's 3-4 yards away, and then Jurgen Klopp sprints halfway down the touchline, and he's furious, and as the assistant runs past him, he's very close to him. I don't know whether he tugs him.
Yeah, whether it's a free kick though for City. Foden plays it in. 1-0 Liverpool lead. Liverpool having to defend, which they do. Van Dijk clears, and that clearance has been charged down. It was Cancelo who lost possession. Liverpool are 3-on-1 here, and Nunez goes for goal and shoots straight into Bernardo Silva when he had options either side of him. But he went for that first goal at Anfield. But Liverpool have won it back, but Nunez has fouled Bernardo Silva, and it's a free kick to Manchester City, and Nunez has belted the ball away down almost down the tunnel out of the ground.
Nunez is nuts there, John, because it's a 3v1, had an easy opportunity just to slide the ball to Mo Salah, who would have been in. Got greedy, really did. Took too many touches, and the chance gone. You cannot waste opportunities against Manchester City like this. They're 1-0 up, but that's a big moment.
Manchester City, well, it looked like they were going to bring Alvarez on, and I don't think they have yet. And now Rodri is unhappy with Anthony Taylor. They're saying, where's the ball? Now there's 2 balls on the field. I think one was turned back by the Cobb. Ederson was going to kick one off the field, but the other one's been kicked off. In fact, it's still on the pitch, and Foden puts it out. We've got less than 2.5 minutes of the 90 to play. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0. Well, it's come to life.
We were hoping it would.
Well, and it has. Here's Cancelo down the right-hand side for Manchester City, slips the ball into the box to Bruyne with the first-time cross, but Van Dijk there, who, well, I know there have been questions about whether he has lost a little bit, Virgil Van Dijk, but he's been back to his best in this game, I would say. And Manchester City lose possession. Henderson just hits it away downfield. We are now in the 89th minute. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be the next Liverpool substitute to come onto the field. Gomez plays the ball into Bernardo Silva and wins a throw-in for Liverpool that is cheered like a goal almost. Gundogan is replaced by Alvarez, so one of those central midfielders is off, and Julian Alvarez, the Argentine international, is sent forward.
Salah off,
and this time it is Salah who is being replaced, and Trent Alexander-Arnold makes his return just a week after that nasty looking injury to his ankle at Arsenal. The prognosis in midweek was that he could be out for a couple of weeks, but he's back. Trent Alexander-Arnold just a week after the injury.
It'd be really interesting how Liverpool shape up now. A little bit surprised with that decision. He's just playing up one. Alexander-Arnold from Milner staying as a right back.
Interesting. As Ederson clears downfield from his penalty area. In fact, he has now dropped back into a right back position, hasn't he? Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then Liverpool concede a free kick.
Yeah,
I
think the thinking from Liverpool, possibly Alvarez has gone on, 2 strikers for City. Liverpool have gone with 3 centre-halves.
Yellow card shown to Jota for that challenge, conceding the free kick. We're into added time. 6 minutes of added time. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0. 5 Lives, Premier League Sunday, and the World Service. Potentially dramatic finish coming over the next few minutes or so. Liverpool trying to hold on for this victory over Manchester City. Alexander-Arnold plays it forward, but Carvalho is down, and actually there's an offside flag up, so Manchester City with a free kick, but Carvalho has stayed down. Pep Guardiola is absolutely simmering down there on the coaching area. He walks out of the coaching area to the left. Liverpool will take more time up with this. Manchester City facing their first Premier League defeat since February. Referee Taylor blows the whistle. Manchester City restart play. Diaz carries the ball forward. Diaz plays it square to De Bruyne. De Bruyne looks up, passes the ball through the middle, and then Rodri to his right. Alvarez out to the right-hand side, but the pass went astray, and Robertson was able to get there first and then knock it off Cancelo and out for a throw-in to Liverpool. And we've now had a minute and a half of the 6, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Liverpool just need to see this through. Somehow Robertson's had a good game as well. Another Liverpool player who's not had a great start to the season. Well, they're coming together when it matters.
Throw-in taken by Liverpool from that left-back area. And it finds its way rather fortuitously there to Nunez, who's over on the left-hand side, and he's tearing down the left wing now. The challenge comes in on him. Akanji didn't get there. Nunez into the box. Nunez plays it across. Alexander-Arnold arriving on the stretch. Right foot. Couldn't get the shot on target. It's behind, and it's a goal kick.
It's brilliant from Nunez down the left-hand side. Outpaces Akanji. And with a right-footed cross, is trying to find Alexander-Arnold at the far post. Just too heavy the cross is. Alexander-Arnold stretching, can't divert the ball on target.
Close for a second Liverpool goal, not close enough. But they are still in a position here to record their first win over Manchester City in the Premier League since 2019. And it would reduce the deficit between them to 10 points, with Manchester City having played one more match. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0. The whistles, but it's City in possession. Jurgen Klopp's been sent off. He's no longer there in the coaching area. City played forward. Rodri has gone down, and the referee's going to bring it back.
I suppose if you're a Liverpool fan, you're watching the team's urgency now. You're thinking, where has this been this season?
De Bruyne now down the left-hand side, low in towards the penalty spot, but cleared away by Gomez. There's a lot of scrutiny on him before the game. Gomez coming in for the injured Konate, not least from us, but he's so far stood up to it. And Manchester City have it on the halfway line again. Which is a question, I suppose, you know. Pep Guardiola did tweak his system today. And here is Ake now playing it to Foden. And Foden's ball across, right across the edge of the 6-yard box. No one there in a lime green shirt. And then City couldn't keep it in on the far side. More cheers, this time over there, where the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand meets the Anfield Road end. Throw-in taken quickly and hit downfield by Jota, which has just given possession back to Manchester City. We're in the 4th minute of added time.
Yeah, what a ball that was in from Foden. Ake released him on the left-hand side. He can't do any more than that. No takers from Manchester City as they're fired across the 6-yard line.
City still have time. 1-0 down. Ake square from him. It reaches Akanji. Akanji passes it back to Ake. We're in the 5th minute of added time. Ake goes long, but no, he's overhit that. And more Liverpool cheers as the ball just harmlessly, from a Liverpool point of view, bounces through into the hoardings. And Alisson just saunters across and says to Van Dijk, yeah, just bounce that ball back into the 6-yard box, will you? Crucial figure, Alisson, today. Important saves. And
distribution for the goal.
Distribution for the goal.
Yeah.
He's been, you know, there's been obviously so much conversation and talk about Liverpool's form this season, but
he's been good, hasn't he? He's
very
been inconsistent.
Well, I make it now. We are in the final minute of added time. Liverpool 60 seconds or so from a very important win for them as Jota plays it through. Nunez is through, looked offside. Nunez plays it across, and there's no offside flag. And Jota actually has been caught there as he played the ball through for Nunez, and Manchester City will come forward. Jota is still down injured. Here's De Bruyne on the right-hand side. This could be the last attack. A left-footed cross. Haaland with a header, but it was deflected. Didn't get clean contact on it, and the ball just looped through to Alisson to catch.
Yeah, Gomez just about did enough. Haaland leapt and Gomez stayed with him. The ball looped up and Alisson clutched the ball, but Jota's in some pain. Yeah.
Jota's still down, so there is a lull. But I think this might be the calm before the storm of the final whistle. Just couldn't get clean contact, Haaland, on that one. He's had his chances today to add to this brilliant scoring run that he's been on, but it looks as though, shock, he's going to draw a blank today at Anfield.
And as we know, it doesn't happen, or hasn't happened very often.
He has scored here before, scored here as a 19-year-old for Red Bull Salzburg. But
I think I was here that night, John.
Yeah, 4-3 they go. But it appears that he's not going to be able to get the ball in the net today. Stands with his hands on his hips. Manchester City, they thought they'd scored, they thought they'd got the breakthrough early in the second half, but VAR intervened there, and Diogo Jota, correctly. Lines are open for 606 to talk to Chris, who's here at Anfield, and Robbie Savage, who'll be back in the studio, 08 085 909 693, and Monday Night Club tomorrow to discuss it all also. Micah Richards is on tomorrow night with
is it?
Rory, Smith and Chris, with Steve Crossman tomorrow. Still Jota receiving treatment, so still no final whistle yet. And actually Liverpool are going to make a change. Kostas Tsimikas will come on to presumably replace Jota. He was still being treated over there. He was caught. Have you seen a replay of that? Or did he fall awkwardly?
I'm not sure, but this Liverpool have had
plenty of injuries,
yeah. That's a nightmare.
Missed the start of the season, Diogo Jota, if you remember. And actually the stretcher's coming on. So that will take a little while. And so for the final seconds, we will have a significant delay here. Stretcher's been placed on the ground. I think I'm right in saying it's a leg injury. Actually, we're just going to see the replay now. Just sort of stretched out for it and then clutched his knee. He clutched his right knee as he went down, I think.
Yeah. He stayed down. This isn't a good sight, this, for Diogo Jota.
It is not. They've already lost Diaz, remember. He's out for most of the rest of this year. And now Jota, if that's a knee injury, that's not good. Clearly. And applause around Anfield. They'll be wishing him well. So there is a cost involved today if that's another injury for Liverpool. The word was that Konate's injury that kept him out of this match from Jurgen Klopp pre-match was not too serious. So Tsimikas comes on to replace the injured Jota. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0. Liverpool just a matter of moments away now from this valuable Premier League win for them over the champions, Manchester City. Akanji heads it forward. Whistles from all sides of Anfield. Gomez hikes the ball up in the air with his right foot near the halfway line. That looked like a handball by Van Dijk. Yes, it was. Handball from Van Dijk, who I think knew very well what he was doing there because he missed the bouncing ball, but he gets away with it.
That's his first misjudgment. Could that be costly?
Free kick. 10 yards inside the Liverpool half. De Bruyne wastes no time, plays it in towards Akanji. Liverpool get ahead to it, and it bounces down. Henderson clears. Ederson's in the centre circle, the goalkeeper. And De Bruyne sweeps it downfield. He knew there was no time left. It's caught by Alisson, and Alisson launches the ball into the Merseyside air. And the cheer at Anfield tells you that Liverpool have beaten Manchester City here by 1-0. It's a first Premier League defeat of the season for the champions, for Pep Guardiola's side. And even though Jurgen Klopp was red-carded towards the end of the match, he's not down there on the side of the pitch. There'll be no punching of the air from him to herald this victory, but Liverpool have their first win in the Premier League since August, and their first over Manchester City in the league since 2019. Not much in it, but a lively second half, Chris.
Yeah, and a brilliantly taken goal from Mo Salah, wasn't it? Jurgen Klopp before the game this week saying we can't compete. They competed brilliantly this afternoon, Liverpool. And is this the win which really kick-starts their season?
Boos as Anthony Taylor is talked to by Pep Guardiola, who's walking behind the referee down the tunnel. I can see him and the assistants there behind them, so they disappear from sight. But that's it. You can hear the sound of Anfield, which is acclaiming this big win for Liverpool. It feels like that for them. Really, they had to win, and they have. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 0.